What's going on, y'all? My name is Brian Sanchez, and welcome back to Living the Magic. It's been a whole hot minute since we've done an episode, but there's been so much news, some developments, announcements, and everything that I couldn't stay on the sideline any longer. So I just want to jump on here. Today's episode, I want to talk about all the announcements and confirmation of the things that we've known about for the last 3 years from Universal Orlando with the confirmation and announcements about Epic Universe. Diving right into it, just want to look at the overview. Okay, we've had the lands of this park rumored pretty much since day one. If you follow any of the reputable rumor sites like Park Stop and some of the other ones, you know that they've pretty much had these 100% spot on, but we didn't have official names, one or two little minor details that were confirmed and things that we didn't know were coming. In this massive announcement that came last week, along with a video, concept art, and a whole bunch of other things that, we got from Universal Orlando proper. First and foremost is the names of these lands. So the central area of the land will be Celestial Park, a beautiful idea. I love the concept of an original IP or an original concept for the main connecting area. So there's not just big, movie and television franchises anchoring this entire park. Gives the creatives a chance to be storytellers and to weave a little bit more detail into a world that they can create their own, and they can, kind of evolve as they see fit to be the core anchor of this park. If you're watching this, you can see, looking at the concept art of this area, it looks absolutely gorgeous. At first I was gonna say to describe this as like a steampunk thing, but it's really not. And apparently, according to some sources out there, they were under the strict instruction not to do anything steampunk related, no gears, things like that. But it kind of has that like sci-fi futuristic vibe while at the same time being this like old, almost like Victorian Jules Vernean style architecture. It's a real mixture of like Mediterranean and like futuristic, a lot of glass, a lot of like really bright colors. I love it. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, particularly the entrance archway. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And as you move in deeper into the area, this is what they're saying, like the tagline of this is they're putting the park back in theme park. Green spaces, tons and tons of greenery throughout the concept art of Celestial Park. I love it. Green and water and leaning into the lore and characters of like celestial, I guess it's Greek mythology, with like Poseidon and Ares and like all those kind of things. I don't know if that's Greek or Roman. I could be getting those mixed up, but you get what I'm saying. The whole like astrological signage of it all kind of like weaves its way through everything, including the attractions, because there will be attractions in this central area, which, and they're going big. They're going huge. In addition to a carousel at the center of the park, which I think looks phenomenal, called Constellation Carousel. Not just a normal carousel. It's rumored to be one that will and not just go round and round and up and down, but the ride vehicles or the characters that you ride on will weave in and out of each other in interesting ways and change direction and stuff to be a little bit more elevated. Something similar to the there's a sea glass carousel, I believe. It's in New York City somewhere. That's similar to that ride system. But they're also doing a dueling coaster, harkening back to the days of dueling dragons at Islands of Adventure, but on a whole nother scale. It appears to be on the level of something like a Velocicoaster. speeds very similar, heights very similar. If you want your highest thrill attraction in this park, this is probably going to be it. Two unique roller coasters dueling in and out of each other. The concept art makes it look like their trains will be lit up in really interesting and cool ways to make it come to life at night. This looks phenomenal. But in addition to the attractions, and there's a splash pad and fountains and stuff, there will also be dining and there will be shopping in this area as well. You have two restaurants in here. One called Atlantic, which looks like to be some kind of like a seafood restaurant type thing, or at least themed to like an aquatic experience. It looks like you're inside of some kind of an aquarium or underwater while you're, dining in there. It looks phenomenal. And then there is another restaurant called the Blue Dragon Pan Asian Restaurant. Probably, Asian influenced cuisine there. No big surprises, but there's a giant dragon statue outside of the restaurant that looks so awesome. I'm loving this kind of stuff. Don't just give me, the properties that we love and the IP that we want, but give us some original ideas. Let your creatives be creative. I'm not going to go through every single land in complete detail. There's plenty of other videos that are doing that. But I do want to say that one thing that I hope that they add to these areas, in each one as we kind of, gloss over these, you're going to notice a recurring theme from me, and that is entertainment. I really hope that Universal takes the opportunity and ups their game with entertainment. Now, that's not to say that their entertainment is not great already. They do a phenomenal job with the shows that they have, the character meet and greet areas that they have. But I would like for this to be a chance to really raise the bar when it comes to live entertainment offerings in the theme parks. I think live entertainment has kind of taken a step back in recent years at all of the parks across Orlando. Not just Universal, but at Disney, it's clearly been scaled back. SeaWorld does a couple of things, but it's not really known for live entertainment. They do a phenomenal job bringing in bands for festivals and stuff, but that's pretty much it. I would like to see more creative opportunities. You've seen recent things come in the past, like the Bourne Stuntacular, getting back at it. I love that. More. I want more. I really think it would be a lot of fun if in one of these restaurants or in some kind of venue in Celestial Park, you had a band similar to what they used to do at Disneyland with the band called Helix, which was a completely fictional rock band that they did in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe. That was this sci-fi futuristic rock band. There's a whole documentary about it online. You can definitely go check it out. I would love to see something like that. Give us not just some musicians playing, covers of top 40 songs. Write some original music. Let's lean into that. They did a little bit of that on the Star Cruiser, Disney did. And I thought that was a phenomenal swing. You can say maybe that didn't exactly work out, but I think the concept is there. I think we just need to keep trying some of these, and eventually some of these will stick. I think it's a fantastic opportunity to use the phenomenal performers that you have in that area. But that is the overview of Celestial Park. I'm really, really excited. Again, it's absolutely beautiful. There is the hotel at the back of the park, but we will get there at the end because I would like to dive into our first of the official lands. And the first one that we're going to talk about is the one that we already actually kind of knew. They did kind of already confirm this, and that is Super Mario World. Super Mario World open in California. Super, super popular over in Japan as well. I am 100% for this. In addition to the Mario Kart attraction and the Yoshi attraction that are already, features of the existing Mario worlds, we're also going to get an entire new land devoted to Donkey Kong. And this is what I'm most excited about. Growing up, I loved Mario. We played the games, like everybody did. Super Mario Brothers, classic, fantastic. We love it. But as much as I loved Super Mario games, I loved the Donkey Kong Country games even more. And this is leaning into those characters. And I absolutely love it. There looks to be a roller coaster that we've seen test footage of, that they're simulating jumping from tracks the way you would in the video game. Phenomenal, absolutely awesome idea. One that I didn't think was ever going to be possible, but, of course, people are way smarter than me in figuring these kind of things out. There are rumored to be character meet and greets again in what looks to be the sort of houses that was like the village in the Donkey Kong 64 game, which I spent hours and hours and hours and hours of my life, exploring those worlds and into that game. Phenomenal. Not just Donkey Kong, but Diddy and Dixie and Lanky, and like the whole Donkey Kong family is coming to this area. Absolutely fantastic. Again, give me live entertainment, give me musicians, give me actors, give me a story that goes along in this. But honestly, like from what it seems that we're getting from Super Mario and Nintendo World and Donkey Kong, looks phenomenal. And maybe hopefully one day we can get an expansion if we're going to lean into the Nintendo of it all and bring in Pokemon. But that's for another day. The next world we're going to look at is Classic Monsters. And this is, again, another one that I'm absolutely loving. It looks like they're going to be nailing this spot on. There are rumors to be, there's 2 attractions already being built. There's a Kuka arm attraction similar to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey that is a phenomenal idea, going through a sort of old mansion where the story is that the granddaughter of Dr. Frankenstein, Victoria Frankenstein, is, continuing the experiments or bringing her own ideas into the experiments of, her family legacy and reviving the monster, but not only just the monster, Frankenstein's monster, but the rest of the Universal Classic Monsters as well. Dracula, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, maybe the Mummy. I would love to see them tie in the Brendan Fraser Mummy that we already have at Universal Studios into this world. I know there was a big swing and a miss with the Dark Universe in the theaters a couple years back with the Tom Cruise version of the Mummy, and I think fans really quickly and very viscerally said, yeah, no, we don't like this, and for good reason. There was a lot of problems with that stuff. I don't think it was as bad as it as a lot of the heat that it got, but it was not up to par. And I think they've listened, they're learning their lesson, they're doing these right. But I would love to see them tie in the Brendan Fraser Mummy that we already have at USF into Epic Universe and this Dark Universe. But we will see. There's also a Wolfman roller coaster that looks really fun. And then rumors for later on expansions of some kind of an attraction featuring Creature from the Black Lagoon. You also have a tavern, dining locations in here as well that look like it would be a whole lot of fun. This is your opportunity to cater to that HHN crowd, which I'm not a huge HHN person. I am definitely a chicken. I don't really like horror movies. I don't really go in for the blood and guts and gore of it all, but I do love the Universal Classic Monsters, and I'm really, really looking forward to the addition of the monsters here at Epic Universe. But again, live entertainment. Give me more live entertainment. The next land we're going to look at is How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. This is a franchise that I'm honestly not super familiar with. I watched the first film, and I really liked it. And I've been meaning to watch the second, and I believe there might be a third, but I'm not entirely sure. But I love this idea. This is a really awesome, family-friendly type area that is going to have offerings for, your much, much younger guests, families with, children. And that's been one of the biggest things that Universal has had going against it for a very long time, is that it tends to cater to a slightly older, slightly quote unquote more mature crowd than something like Disney does. There's not a ton of attractions that an entire family from grandma to grandchildren can do together. And this area seems like it's going to be able to remedy that. Now, there is a family coaster that's going to be in here that looks actually something similar to like Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure over at Islands of Adventure. Obviously, height and physical restrictions could come into play there. There seems to be some kind of like boat ride thing that might be a little bit more accessible. And then some play areas, splash pads, some flat rides, things like that, giving families an opportunity to experience things together. But I absolutely love it. And it looks gorgeous. Like the concept art for this area looks phenomenal. Again, give me live entertainment, give me characters, give me lean into that. I would love to see something in this area that is similar to the old Triceratops encounter. I don't know if that's rumored to be something. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody say that, but I would love for there to be some kind of like a dragon keeper, and we could go in and see like a toothless animatronic, like a giant puppet. And you have an actor who is taking care of him, and you can kind of go through and walk through, and you can get a picture with Toothless, and he can be the size that he is in the films. I think that would be a phenomenal thing to add to this area, and some kind of an experience that everyone can do together, and kind of lean in and pay homage to a forgotten and lost attraction that a lot of us, I think, really do miss, and let Universal Creative flex their chops with animatronics, because Universal can do animatronics too. It's not just Disney that can do animatronics. But again, a dining location rumored here as well. Looking forward to that. There's a mead hall. I don't think this is going to be a raucous bar that like many of me and my friends kind of hoped that it would be, because it's probably more family oriented. But either way, probably should still be a really good time. I would imagine something similar to like Three Broomsticks or something like that over in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And speaking of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the last land that we're going to talk about that was confirmed was in fact the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. And this is the land that I don't think was a surprise to anyone that they were going to be doing more Wizarding World stuff, but I do think some of the choices that they have made are a little surprising. This is also a land that I think we know the least about. I think Universal is really playing their cards close to the chest on this one. They said that they weren't able to give any more details about the main attraction of this land because it was too big and too exciting, and they wanted to save it for a later date because it's in and of itself would be too big. So if you don't want any of that kind of stuff spoiled for you, you can go ahead and fast forward a little bit. But the rumors are that the attraction in this land would be based around the British Ministry of Magic. But the land itself is Wizarding Paris from the Fantastic Beasts franchise. And not only just Wizarding Paris, but specifically 1920s Wizarding Paris. And in an attempt to tie both franchises together, it would appear that when you go through the portal into this land, you're going to be transporting yourself into 1920s Wizarding Paris. So literally like the moments that the films, The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them films are taking place. When you enter the main attraction by the Flu Network or some other, method, you're going to be being transported to not only just the British Ministry of Magic, but the British Ministry of Magic in the 90s, which is what we see in the Harry Potter franchise. And this is the moment where it's starting to get a little bit weird and stuff. And now, time travel is present in the, Harry Potter books and the films. If you look at the concept art of the entrance portal for this land, the Wizarding World, at the very top of the arch, there seems to be a time turner. like placed right at the top. So from the jump, they are saying, hey, y'all, we are going to be doing time travel here. So bear with us, just get with it. And look, I like a cohesive story, and I can appreciate and roll with, some stretches of things. But it does definitely feel like they invested so much time, effort, and money into the Fantastic Beasts of it all with the franchise films that, have not been successful for a myriad of reasons that, I won't get into, but, and so I think they were just too far down the road on that concept and idea when it came to this new area of the parks, that they kind of had to. But I think they also realized that the demand for a Ministry of Magic attraction was just so high that they had to figure out a way to incorporate it. And if it wasn't going to be happening at Universal Studios Florida on the outside of Diagon Alley, there's been tons and tons of rumors for years that the Fear Factor, theater is going to be demolished and another Potter ride was going to go in there, and that was going to be a British Ministry of Magic ride. But to do it on the scale that they seem to want, doesn't seem to be enough room back there. And so then it changed to a Broom Factory flight simulator ride, which didn't really seem to ever get enough traction and seemed to get derailed for another couple of reasons. And so I understand why, but it just seems that they're trying to make something out of this because they feel they have to, not so much because there is a clear vision guiding it as a whole. But I'm here for it, especially because, rolling theme of this video, the other attraction rumored to be in this area is a stage show. Universal a few years ago had patented a new kind of technology for theaters where it would be a sort of a theater in the round, and the seating areas would be on movable arms and platforms, and so they could rearrange the seating and you would be moved around the theater, around performers in the middle. And I think this sounds absolutely fantastic, and it seems like it would be ripe for use in some kind of an attraction that was a Wizarding World circus like you find in the Fantastic Beasts films. So the Circus Arcanus, I think is what it's called, I think would be a phenomenal thing. You could, use some animatronics, you could use some special effects and lighting and stuff. And then with magic, you could have, the seating platforms, kind of floating around the room and being rearranged. I think it would be phenomenal. But again, more live entertainment, more live musicians, more live actors, more live characters. Bring it. We want it. It's all I truly want. And then, so those are the 4 lands. And then the last thing that they confirmed was, finally, following the lead of many, many theme parks around the world, the Disney parks in Asia and in Europe tend to be doing this. And I don't understand why it's taken them this long to start doing this in the States, but we are going to be getting our first hotel that is within the borders, if you will, of one of the theme parks. Now, Disneyland Disney California Adventure has the Grand California that kind of butts up to the backside of Disney California Adventure, but there's not a ton of viewing areas, of the hotel from the park and vice versa. This is literally the back fence of the park, and there's an entire front half of the hotel that looks into the theme park. And this is the kind of thing that is going to drive up the price of staying here, but also really, I think, take staying at Universal to the next level. If you're able to get a room here overlooking the fountains and into Celestial Park of Epic Universe, absolutely phenomenal. I really, really, really hope that we're able to get fireworks shows, like proper nighttime fireworks and fountain shows here. They do one at Universal Studios Florida, but it is more a fountain show. They don't really lean into too much of the fireworks probably because the parks butt up next to a residential neighborhood. And so there's probably like zoning issues and things that prevent them from doing giant fireworks spectaculars the way that Disney does, where they have a lot more room. This park being over closer to the convention center and to an area where there's not as much residential stuff going on may allow them to scale up their nighttime spectaculars. And so a rooftop bar, rooftop seating, viewing areas, like a special event area where you can, watch a nighttime spectacular from this hotel or from your balcony of your hotel room, puts this kind of hotel on the level of something like the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian over at Disney. And on day one, I think this becomes the biggest and premier hotel on Universal property, overtaking whether it's Royal Pacific or Portofino, whatever your current pick for the crown jewel in the resort hotels at Universal is, even if it's my personal one, Sapphire Falls. I absolutely love that hotel, even though it's moderate and doesn't really have a ton of views of anything. I just absolutely love that place. But I think this makes the Universal's Helios Grand Hotel the premier hotel location at Universal Orlando. It looks gorgeous. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Ties in with that Celestial Park vibe, and I think is really going to raise the bar when it comes to the hotels at Universal in a way that I think is really, really needed. Again, give me live music, give me lounge areas, give me really nice dining options, locations, restaurants, lounges, things like that. I want more experiences than just here's your hotel room and you can go watch the fireworks and here's your entrance into the park. Like, I would love to see them lean into offering things that maybe for people that aren't staying here to be able to go here and experience things the way that the Disney hotels do. And that, my friends, is my overview and thoughts of Epic Universe. I know there's a lot. I know there's a ton of stuff that we went over there. And I may be repeating myself a little bit, but really, I'm super excited for the additions of a brand new, theme park in Orlando. I've been a fan of the Orlando parks my entire life. And you grow up in Tampa, a couple hours away, you can't help but end up going, to the parks all the time for birthdays and special occasions and during the summers and stuff. But this is the first time that we're ever getting a full blown, theme park being built with this level of access and this many eyes on it. Now, yes, when they built Islands of Adventure, the internet was around, but I don't think that the theme park community was as online and as connected as it is now. There were forums, there were plenty of sites that you could go and find information on, and you had things like the Travel Channel doing construction specials and those kind of things, but that's pretty much it. Like, now we have Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts dedicated entirely to construction updates. Folks like BioReconstruct that are on a pretty much seems like on a daily basis flying helicopters or whatever, however, they get the shots that they get to bring us every single construction update, every tiny little change, every little thing that's added into the parks on a daily basis is documented and shared for all of us to watch. And it's really, really exciting. So I'm super, super stoked to be able to follow along with the construction of this park at the way that we can. I know a lot of people, it's Universal that says it. I don't really know anyone else that classifies Volcano Bay as a theme park the way that Universal wants us to. Universal says that, Volcano Bay is a theme park. It's a water park. It's a fantastically themed water park, and it's gorgeous, but it's not a theme park in the sense of what Epic Universe is. As many attractions and high level, storytelling elements, themed areas, the connectivity, the size, the scope and scale of something like Epic Universe. Come on. But yeah, we're getting a new one. It's, It was originally rumored to be opening in summer of 2025, and I think now they're really more just saying 2025. So maybe the fall, maybe the end of the year. Who knows? We will keep it up, but an eye on everything. But it seems like they're making progress every single day. Every time I see another updated picture of the construction area, it just looks like more and more is getting done. And I mean, they're already doing ride testing on some of the stuff. Like, we've seen video of some of the rides in the How to Train Your Dragon area running. So like that's wild to me. It feels like not too long ago there was a giant dirt pile that we were pointing to when we were flying in, or if we ever, if you went up on the like Orlando Eye, the icon over at Icon Park, you could see it and you could point to it and say, oh, that's where they're building another theme park, but it's just a giant dirt pile. And now there are roads, there are buildings, there's a whole roller coaster, there's tracks for the Starfall racers that you can see from really, really far away. That thing is going to be massive and a lot of fun. If you have stuck with me to the end of this 30-minute video, thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. If you're listening on signalpointmedia.com or on your favorite podcast player, definitely leave a rate and review and follow us so you can be notified whenever we do new videos. There's been a lot of updates, and so I'll be doing a lot more videos lately, or as we go, and of course ramping up to the opening of Epic Universe. I also want to see what Disney's going to do. There's been a lot of rumors of things changing at Disney. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is coming along, so we'll talk about that and what I think the future of Frontierland and potentially a New Orleans Square and all that is going to be. What I would like to see over there. We'll definitely, we still have to keep the Imagination virtual sit-in rolling in some way, shape, or form, because my boy Figment needs a new attraction. So, follow along. If you're following on YouTube, you're watching, thank you so much. And make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and all that. And of course, you can always get early access to everything that I do, not just Living the Magic, but the F1 rundown, my music stuff, acting stuff, all of that stuff can be found on patreon.com /signalpointmedia for early access and exclusive content where you can find anywhere else. You can follow me along there for as little as $1 a month, and it really helps me continue to do projects like this as long as I can. But I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Thank y'all so much for following along with me. We'll see y'all around, and as always, Kungaloosh.